Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I know it's been a couple of days since I've posted. I'm sorry about that. I had some stuff going on. We're on part 5 of the college football predictions. First division up, we are going to the SEC West. Finishing last place in the SEC West division, I have Mississippi State. I do think this team is a pretty solid team. I could see them upsetting some teams. But I have them starting off the season 2-0, losing at LSU, beating Bowling Green, and then this is my upset of the year for them. I have them beating Texas A&M at home, but then I have them going on a 5-game losing streak, losing to Arkansas, Kentucky, Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia, beating East Tennessee State, and then losing at Ole Miss to finish the season. Unfortunately, they did not get a bowl game this year, though. Finishing 6th, I have LSU. This might come as a shock to some people. I do think that we're going to be a bowl-eligible team, but 6th place in the SEC West. I have them starting the season with a loss at Florida State. Florida State is just a tough environment, and I don't see them winning there. I have them going on a 3-game win streak, beating Southern, Mississippi State, and New Mexico. And then if the game was at home against Auburn, I'd give them the edge, but since it's at Auburn, I'm going with Auburn. I have them beating Tennessee, winning at Florida, beating Ole Miss for the upset of the year. Then I have them losing to Alabama and Arkansas, beating UAB, then ending the season on a loss at A&M. I do think this team could be better than 7-5, but the schedule is a very tough schedule this year. Finishing 5th, which is a top 3 team, in my opinion, in the SEC, but due to their schedule and where they play at, I'm finishing 5th. I have the Arkansas Razorbacks. I do have them starting with the season 3-0, winning against Cincinnati. A lot of people are taking Cincinnati in that game, but since in Arkansas, I got to go with them. I have them beating South Carolina and then beating Missouri State. I have them losing 2 in a row, though, losing at A&M and against Bama. Then I have them beating Mississippi State, BYU, but losing at Auburn. Auburn is going to be a good team this year, in my opinion. I feel like a Tank Bigsby breakout season is about to happen. I do have them beating Liberty and LSU, losing to Ole Miss, and then finishing off the season with a win at Missouri. I have this team finishing 8-4, but I do think they will be a top team in the SEC this year. The record says otherwise, though. Finishing 4th, I have the Ole Miss Rebels. I do like this team this year, but they do have a tough schedule and they play out a lot of tough people. I have them starting off the season 6-0, beating Troy, Central Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Tulsa, Kentucky, and winning at Vandy. I also have them winning against Auburn. Then I have a very bad downfall for them. I have them losing at LSU. I don't really need to explain why they lose at LSU. They lose at A&M, and then they lose to Alabama at home. Alabama is just too dominant for them, in my opinion. I do have them bouncing back with the win at Arkansas, which is going to be a tough game for them. But I do have them winning that game. And then I have them winning the Mississippi rival against Mississippi State. They finished 9-3 and then 4th in the West. Finishing at 9-3, also 3rd in the West, I have the Texas A&M Aggies. This team's recruiting has been off the charts. They're a top 7 team right now, in my opinion, to start the season. I'm starting out 4-0, but then getting upset by Mississippi State at Mississippi State. I have them losing at Bama, but then I do have them winning against South Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida, and Auburn. At Auburn, I have them losing, which puts Auburn ahead of them in the SEC West, but they finish off the season with a win against Massachusetts and LSU. Finishing 2nd, which might come as a shock, I have the Auburn Tigers. I'm really high on this team this year, and they play a lot of the tough opponents at home. I'm starting off 2-0, but they did lose at home to Penn State. I feel like Penn State will get them last year. We all saw what happened last year when they beat them at Penn State, but this year I think Penn State will be a different team defensively, and I think they will win that. Then I have them winning 3 more games, beating Missouri, LSU, and I do have them upset in Georgia this year. Most people would think they'd be upset in Alabama, but in my opinion, I think the offense is going to be too much for the Georgia defense. Georgia's defense has lost a lot. I do have them losing at Ole Miss, and then winning 4 of the last 5. But week 12, they do lose to Alabama, which puts Alabama at the 1 spot, which should come as no shock to anyone. But I have Auburn finishing 9-3. Finishing 1st, this should not be shocked to anyone. I have the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama is just a dominant team right now. Last year was apparently a rebuilding year, but I don't really think it was a rebuild year. They played without Jameson Williams in the championship, which I think they could have won. I have them going 12-0 this year, winning the SEC West. Hard games for them, in my opinion, would be at LSU. I think that would be a good one. Auburn's going to be a good one. It's the Iron Bowl. At Arkansas is going to be tough. And at Texas, if Texas is actually back, that would be tough. But all in all, Alabama, Bryce Young, is obviously going to be the best team in the SEC this year, in my opinion. Georgia fans, you're not going to like this video. I'm just going to let you know that now. Just to recap the final SEC West standings, finishing 7th, I have Mississippi State going 5-7 and then 1-7 in the conference. Number 6, I have LSU going 7-5, 4-4 in the conference. Finishing 5th, I have Arkansas going 8-4, 4-4 in the conference. Finishing 4th, which is also tied for 2nd, I got Ole Miss going 9-3, but then 5-3 in the conference. 3rd, Texas A&M going 9-3 and 5-3. And then Auburn finishing 2nd, 9-3, 6-2 in the conference, which puts them at the 2 spot. And then Alabama finishes 12-0, and they go 8-0 in the conference, winning the SEC West. 6 teams in the West make a bowl game. Mississippi State could make one, depending on how many teams go 6-6 or 5-7. Finishing last in the SEC East, this should be not really a shock to anyone. I have Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is a very bad team. I could literally see them losing at Hawaii week 1, but I'm going to give them the edge in that one. They do beat Elon, lose to Wake Forest, beat Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois could actually win that game pretty easily too. Then I have them finishing the season on a losing streak, week 5 to week 12. I'm losing Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia. At Missouri, they could win that, but since it's at Missouri, I took Mizzou. Losing to South Carolina, Kentucky, Florida, and Tennessee. Finishing 6th, I have Missouri. This team could be a bowl team, but I don't see it this year. They have a tough schedule ahead of them. I do have them starting off the season with a win against Louisiana Tech, losing at Kansas State, beating Auburn Christian. Then going on a 3-game losing streak, losing to Auburn, Georgia, and Florida. Getting a win against Vanderbilt, which puts them above them. Then they lose to South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee. They do beat New Mexico State, but they finished the season off with a loss against Arkansas. This team's not going to be a bowl-eligible team, in my opinion. But they could get some upsets. But they're better than Vanderbilt, but they're not better than anyone else in the East. Finishing 5th in the SEC East, I have the Tennessee Volunteers. I do have them making a bowl game this year. I think they will be that good. But I just don't see them being better than the 4 teams I have in front of them. I have them starting off the season against Ball State with a win. If they played at home against Pittsburgh, I'd give them the edge, but since it's at Pittsburgh, I'm giving them an L. I have them beating Akron, and then I have them losing 3 straight, going to losing against Florida State, Florida, LSU, and Bama, beating UT Martin, and I do have them upsetting Kentucky at home. I have them losing at Georgia, beating Missouri, and then a game I have them losing is at South Carolina. South Carolina is a team I'm cautious about. I feel like they could break out, be average, or just be bad. But South Carolina at South Carolina, I'm going to go with the South Carolina right there. And then I've had them finish off the season with a win against Vandy. Finishing 4th in the SEC East, I have South Carolina. South Carolina has Spencer Rattler now on the team, and they had a pretty good recruiting class this year. I don't think this will be the year of the breakout, but I think next year they could potentially break out. I have them tied with Tennessee, but they are above them because of the head-to-head. I'm starting the season with a win against Georgia State, losing 2 in a row, losing at Arkansas and Georgia, beating Charlotte, beating South Carolina State, losing at Kentucky, losing against A&M, beating Missouri, beating Vanderbilt, losing at Florida, beating Tennessee at home, which that game's going to be a good one. I can't wait for that game. But then they play at Clemson to end the season, and I just don't think South Carolina is going to have what it takes to beat Clemson. So I'm going to go with Clemson in that game. SEC has another strong bowl team in South Carolina and Tennessee. But South Carolina goes 6-6, hitting a bowl game. So I feel like that's a good season for them. Finishing 3rd, this might come as a surprise to some people. I have Kentucky. I know a lot of people picked them 2nd over Florida. And actually, people are not probably going to like my Florida pick either. But Kentucky's going to go 8-4 in my opinion. I do have them beating Miami, Ohio, Youngstown State, UNI, losing at Ole Miss, and then beating South Carolina at home, beating Mississippi State at home, losing at Tennessee. That's my Tennessee upset. Is them beating Kentucky, and then Missouri and Vanderbilt will be a win. Georgia at home is going to be a tough battle for Kentucky. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than most people think. But I do have Georgia pulling that one out by maybe a field goal. And then finishing out the season against Louisville, I give them a win, finishing 8-4 this season. I feel like there will be a top 25 team ranked at the end of the season. Finishing second is a team I'm pretty high on this year. They got new coaching staff. The recruits have been kind of crazy recently. And I have them going 9-3. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but week 1 against Utah in Gainesville, I'm going Florida. Utah normally struggles at the beginning of the season. Last year they lost to BYU and another above-average team at the beginning of the season. Utah normally is a slow start team, so I'm going to give Florida the edge in that. They then play Kentucky, conference rival. I have them winning since it's in Gainesville. Then I have them beating South Florida, winning at Tennessee, beating East Washington, and beating Missouri. Then I have them going on the 3-game losing streak like Florida normally does at the end of the season. I have them losing against LSU at home. I feel like that'd be the LSU upset this year. Losing at Georgia and losing at A&M. I have them beating South Carolina, beating Vandy, and then ending the season on a win against Florida State, which could potentially be an L. But I think Florida will just be a better team than Florida State this year, so I'm going Florida 9-3. Georgia fans, don't be mad. I do have you winning the East, but I don't think your defense is going to be as good as it was last year. Losing Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean and Tavon Walker. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be good, but not as good as last year. I don't trust Stetson Bennett as much. I know what you guys are going to comment. Oh, but he won his championship last year. I know he did. But I don't think Georgia will be as good as they were last year. I have them starting the season with a loss at Oregon. Oregon always starts off the season very good. And I don't think Georgia's going to be ready for them. I feel like they're going to be on that championship high. But then I have them winning all the way up until week 6. I feel like Georgia's just not going to expect Auburn to come out and be as good as they are. So I have them losing against Auburn. And then I have them winning out, going 10-2 this year. Georgia fans, don't be mad. I could easily see Georgia going 12-0, 11-1, making the playoffs again. But this year, I just think they will take a step back from last year. Just to recap, the SEC East Division, finishing in 7th, I have Vanderbilt going 3-9, 0-8 in the conference. Missouri winning 1 game in the conference against Vanderbilt, but going 4-8. Tennessee and South Carolina both going 6-6 and 3-5 in the conference, both making a bowl game. And then I got Kentucky finishing 3rd, 8-4 and 4-4 in the conference. Florida going 9-3, 5-3 in the conference. Georgia going 10-2 and 7-1 in the conference, which sets up Alabama versus Georgia in the SEC championship game. Now we got the SEC championship. It's going to be the same as last year. Georgia versus Alabama. I don't think this game's going to be as close as most people think. I feel like Georgia's going to go up to like a 14-7 lead or something at the beginning of the first quarter. Give people hope, and then Alabama kind of steamrolls them in the second half, outscoring them 24-7. But Alabama is the team this year. They're probably my championship pick. That's going to be out soon. But I got to go with Alabama this year. Winning the SEC. Bryce Young, Heisman year. I feel like he could win Heisman again. Alabama's talent on offense and defense is just insane this year. They probably got the best linebacker in Rowan Jr. this year. And I wouldn't be shocked if they just win it all. But I also would not be shocked if Georgia somehow pulls this off. Like I said, Georgia fans, don't be mad. But I think Alabama is going to take over the SEC again. If you guys liked the video, you know what to do. You need to like and subscribe. I know I gave a couple hot takes that most people didn't like, with Georgia finishing at 10-2. Florida finishing at 9-3 is kind of a hot take in my opinion. Alabama going 12-0 isn't much of a hot take, but the SEC West Division, a lot of them aren't hot takes. Comment if you disagree or agree with them. Comment who you have winning the SEC, each divisions, and the whole conference. And do you think Georgia and Alabama both make the playoff again this year? If not, comment why. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching.